Greetings again. Here we are, Shadil and Saima, and we were reading the diary of Anne Frank while Anne Frank was in her hiding to avoid the concentration camps. So we are doing these reading groups to make all the children realize that even when you are at home, you have a number of things to do. You can do writing, you can keenly observe people around you, and you can do your homework. So there's lots to do inside your home as well. So in the last reading group, we were talking about what there was a long list of things that Anne used to buy, and she had described that list. Okay, now we will begin from Friday, 9th October 1942. So, dearest Kitty, today I have nothing but dismal and depressing news to report. Our many Jewish friends and acquaintances are being taken away in droves. So, this was a very sad news that the Jewish friends were being taken away to the concentration camps. The Gestapo is treating them very roughly and transporting them in cattle trucks to Westerbork, the big camp in Drenthe, to which they're sending all the Jews. Neep told us about someone who'd managed to escape from there. It must be horrible in Westerbork. The people get almost nothing to eat, much less to drink, as water is available only 1 hour a day. And there is one lavatory and sink for several thousand people. So the condition is really miserable. People hardly get anything to eat and drink, and there is one toilet for how many people? How many people? Several thousand people, only one toilet. So it must be very hard. Men and women sleep in the same room, and women and children often have their heads shaved. Oh my god, this is cruel. Escape is almost impossible. Many people look Jewish and they are branded by their shorn heads. So it's very difficult for them to escape from this situation, and the situation is getting worse and worse for the Jews, and this is very cruel condition for them. If it's that bad in Holland, what must it be like in those faraway, uncivilized places where the Germans are sending them? We assume that most of them are being murdered. The English radio says they are being gassed. Perhaps that's the quickest way to die. So they were being gassed. Um, they were being, a poisonous gas was being leaked in certain places where they were um, caught, and those were purposely released to kill them. So to make them die quickly. I feel terrible. Meep's accounts of these horrors are so heartrending, and Meep is also very distraught. The other day, for instance, the Gestapo deposited an elderly, crippled Jewish woman on Meep's doorstep while they set off to find a car. The old woman was terrified of the glaring searchlights and the guns firing at the English planes overhead. Yet Meep didn't dare let her in. Nobody would. Germans are generous enough when it comes to punishment. Bev is also very subdued. Her boyfriend is being sent to Germany. Every time the planes fly over, she's afraid they are going to drop their entire bomb load on Bertha's head. Jokes like, "Oh, don't worry, they can't all follow him," or "one bomb is all it takes," are hardly appropriate in this situation. Beatrice is not the only one being forced to work in Germany. Trainloads of young men depart daily. Some of them try to sneak off the train when it stops at a small station, but only a few manage to escape unnoticed and find a place to hide. But that's not the end of my lamentations. Have you ever heard the term hostages? That's the latest punishment for saboteurs. It's the most horrible thing you can imagine. Leading citizens, innocent people are taken prisoner to await their execution. If the Gestapo can find the saboteur, they simply grab 5 hostages and line them up against the wall. You read the announcements of the death in the paper where they're referred to as fatal accident. So we used to, line them up against the wall and kill those people. So They were going through very, very difficult times. Fine specimens of humanity, those Germans, and to think I'm actually one of them. No, that's not true. Hitler took away our nationality long ago. And besides, there are no greater enemies on earth than the Germans and the Jews. Yours. And so this diary has been very, very, sad, explaining the conditions around her for the Jews, for the German Jews, how they were suffering. Next is Wednesday, 14th October. Next is Wednesday, 14th October 1942. Dearest Kitty, I'm terribly busy. Yesterday I began by translating a chapter from La Belle Nivernaise and writing down vocabulary words. Then I worked on awful maths problem and translated 3 pages of French grammar besides. So can you imagine how hard she was working? Even being in hiding, she worked on her maths, her French, and she was working on French grammar. Today, French grammar and history. I simply refuse to do that French maths every day. Daddy thinks it's awful too. I'm almost better at it than he is, though in fact neither of us is any good, so we always have to call on Margot's help. I'm also working away at my shorthand, which I enjoy. Of the 3 of us have made the most progress. So she's working on her history, French, maths, and shorthand. So she's doing a lot of work. Are you also doing a lot of work while at being home? So are you also working at home? So you can make positive use of time even when you are at home. I've read The Storm Family. It's quite good, but doesn't compare with Jupiter Whole. Phew. Anyway, the same words can be found in both books, which makes sense because they are written by the same author. Cissy Van Maxwell is a terrific writer. I'm definitely going to let my own children read her books too. So she's taking interest in reading books. Which books have you recently read?
Judy.
Yes, very good.
And now I'm reading
Can you say it a little bit louder, please?
Wimpy Kid.
Yes, Wimpy Kid. So he read Judy Moody.
Old School.
Which one is that?
Wimpy Kid Old School.
Okay, Wimpy Kid Old School he's reading. Moreover, I've read a lot of corner plays. I like the way he writes. For example, Hedwig, The Cousin from Bremen, The Governess, The Green Domino, etc. So she's been reading a number of books as well. Mother, Margot, and I are once again the best of friends. It's actually a lot nicer that way. Last night, Margot and I were lying side by side in my bed. It was incredibly cramped, but that's what made it fun. She asked if she could read my diary once in a while. So, within the hiding, she made friends. She was having fun as well. Parts of it I said and asked about hers. She gave me her permission to read her diary as well. The conversation turned to the future, and I asked what she wanted to be when she was older. But she wouldn't say and was quite mysterious about it. I gathered it had something to do with teaching. Of course, I'm not absolutely sure, but I suspect it's something along those lines. I really shouldn't be so nosy. Do you know the meaning of nosy? When you interfere in other people's matter. Do you interfere in Baji's matters? Your elder sister's matters? What she's doing, you're peering into her work, what she's doing? No, you don't? Don't you come and report? Look, Mama, she's playing games. Yeah, you're being nosy. Yeah, you're being nosy, I know. Okay, so she thinks that her friend shouldn't be very nosy. This morning, I lay on Peter's bed after first having chased him off it. He is furious, but I didn't care. He might consider being a little more friendly to me from time to time. After all, I did give him an apple last night. I once asked Margot if she thought I was ugly. She said that I was okay and had nice eyes. A little vague, don't you think? Don't you think?
What?
She asked Margot if she thought I was ugly. She said that I was okay and had nice eyes. So she didn't clearly say whether she was ugly or not. She just said to and that she has nice eyes. Well, until next time, Anne Frank. Postscript. This morning we all took turns on the scale. Margot now weighs 9 stone 6 pounds. Mother 9 stone 10. Father 11 stone 1. And 6 stone 12. Peter 10 stone 8. Mrs. Van Dan 8 stone 5. Mr. Van Dan 11 stone 11. In the 3 months since I've been here, I've gained 19 pounds. A lot, who? So she gained 19 pounds. She's gaining weight, she's growing up. So, did you enjoy the diary today? Yes? So, she mainly talked about what? About reading books, about working. Working on what?
Working on math problems and history.
Yes, and French.
And reading.
Yes, and reading so many books. And writing the diary, of course. So, I hope you enjoyed with us with Sherdil and Saima. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.